We like to talk about Colorado tourist attractions on this show, delve into their history a bit, and hope people check them out. We've talked about a year-round Christmas theme park, a Western ghost town museum, and various family fun centers. Today we'd like to continue that trend and discuss one of my favorite spots that resides in Manitou Springs. First, I think we need to talk a little bit about Manitou itself. It's pretty flippin' weird. And that's not a knock on the place. They love it. They sell bumper stickers that say "Keep Manitou Weird." You want to buy some healing crystals? There are about a dozen shops that can accommodate. Looking to drink some disgusting mineral water? The drinking fountains are here to help. What about recreational weed? They have that too. And apparently a lot of people in Manitou practice magic. Yes, magic. That's where we are in 2024. People running around in Merlin costumes trying to summon sea serpents out of the Manitou Creek. But we're not here to talk about any of that. We want to look at my favorite spot in Manitou, the Penny Arcade. What you'll need to do before anything else is find parking. This footage was taken on a weekday, so it was no problem. But if you're planning on coming here on a weekend, don't. You won't find parking, and you'll be miserable. This arcade takes up an entire city block and has 8 buildings. It's been operating for over 80 years under the same family. This video will mostly go over the history of the place. According to public records, in 1930, an M.F. Yount converted an entire street into what is now the Penny Arcade. It was purchased by Jack Kearns, who was known as Bingo Jack, because he originally used the building as a bingo hall. Laws changed that made for-profit bingo illegal, so he started purchasing coin-fed games like pinball machines. His son Alan started working for him when he was only 6 years old. He would grow up seeing everything change around him, including video games hitting the scene in the 1970s. But he claims that video games actually lose money for him now. He used to make sure that he always stocked up the latest games, but he never purchases new stuff anymore. This makes sense. We all have video games at home, but how many of us can say we have a full-size pinball machine? Alan says he encouraged his children to find different career options. He doesn't say exactly why, but I'd imagine upkeep at a place like this is a hassle. He also wants to retire, but is concerned that if he sells the arcade, it'll be converted into condos or boutiques that would be much more lucrative than these ancient relics. And I have to say, I don't know how much longer I see it lasting. That's so depressing. Why are the most boring things the ones that make the most money? I personally hope this place lasts forever. Several years back, Manitou Springs faced horrible floods, and the arcade was not immune. There's a really cool video of a bunch of volunteers helping clean it up afterwards. That's about all the history I could find on the place. If you know anything I missed, please let me know. Okay, let's look at some of the games they have to offer. Obviously, you can't have an arcade without skee-ball. One of their entire buildings is dedicated to skee-ball and the prize booth. Another one of the buildings houses a carnival-style horse racing game in which you roll a ball into a hole and it makes your horse move. This one is awesome.
Ian went to the Penny Arcade and didn't invite me. Wow. Some friend.
Why on earth would I invite Rodney? We're not friends. The other buildings mostly just have standard pinball machines and 80s arcade cabinets like Pac-Man or Galaga. Zoltar,
that's a classic.
However, there is one building we haven't talked about. It's the biggest and best. This one is where the name Penny Arcade comes from. There are machines that literally cost 1 cent. This might be the only thing in the world that costs a penny anymore. Now that I'm thinking about it, why do they even still make pennies? One of these is a football game that was made in the year 1900. Even though there are a couple games that cost a penny, most of them range from a nickel to a quarter. There's this weird car game, a a bunch of shooting games, including the one where you knock these guys down, a bunch of classic pinball machines, some baseball, soccer, and hockey games, and my personal favorite is this basketball one. There are some machines that cost $1, but when you're walking around with a bag of change, spending that much doesn't seem very appealing. Back outside, all of the sidewalks are lined with kiddie rides. When I was a kid, they only had about a handful of these, but now there are dozens. They must purchase them whenever they get a chance. This is where all the rides used to be, but they've spread them all out throughout the whole place. The Manitou Creek runs below here too.
Yeah, I used to hang out at that creek all the time. It's like a raccoon festival down there.
There's a really good concession stand in front of the arcade called Patsy's. We used to visit this place a lot when I was a kid. These days, some of the prices are shocking. $8 for a lemonade.
Is that real? It wasn't $8.
It's $8. Thanks for joining us today. I'd like to do more videos like this. I'm not set on just Colorado either. So if you have any requests or suggestions, let me know. We'll see you next time. This is endless.
Oh, you got one.
A home run?
You got a line drive.
It went up there?
Yeah, it went up there.
I wasn't even looking.